real world. Here we go. Episode 139 of the Trash Talk Business Podcast. This is our opportunity every week to grow, scale, and build our junk removal dreams. Today, it is December 31st, 2024, the last day of the year. We are putting the work in, getting great information out to you here on the podcast, as we do every week. As always, I'm your host, Andy Weins, with Camo Crew Responsible Junk Removal here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. This week, we got a returning guest, good friend of mine, Joe Odendahl, up there at American Dumpsters in BFE, known commonly as Bumfucked Egypt, Minnesota, out there in the great North Woods. Joe, how are you today?
I'm doing great, Andy. Good to see you again.
Do you have snow up there? We have all our snow melted a couple days ago.
No, it all melted. We had about 40 degrees all week, and all the crap was sliding out of the dumpsters real nice. Today it dropped to about 28 for a high, and everything's frozen again.
I explained this to a buddy of mine I played volleyball with years ago. I worked for Waste Management. And I said, recycling drivers love it when it's rainy outside because, they might have like a 3-load day. And then when it's rainy, then all the cardboard gets wet and their 3-load day is a 2-load day because the compaction ratio is great. So yes, the waste, the weather affects the waste industry, or when it's really hot in the summer, you get restaurants that fill up their cans, on like a Friday night. You don't tip them until Monday. It's been sitting there. I mean, it is the definition of a hot garbage juice dripping down the front of the truck. So yes, weather absolutely impacts junk removal, or like you said, when it's wet, everything slides out of the cans, nothing gets stuck. Adds a little bit of weight though, right? When you had snow in your cans, that can add hundreds of pounds sometimes to disposal. So there's
sheetrock loads and
sheetrock loads. That moisture just that gets sucked up by sheetrock or your cardboard. So anyhow, all right. So Joe was on the podcast a couple of weeks ago, and we put an all call. I was debating whether I had an episode or not today, and it was, hey, when we get a guest, we have the episode. If we don't get a guest, we don't have the episode. So Joe is gracing us with his time. And Joe, you actually have a topic you want to cover today. What do you want to talk about today?
I do. So I listened back to the other episode that I was on 3 weeks ago, and we were talking about some of the changes that I made since I visited you in Milwaukee with the mastermind group, and I talked about the changes I made with not drinking and stuff like that. And I really didn't land the plane on the whole vibe of this end of the year, early spring. I had a notepad sitting next to me during that episode with all these important notes for the show to make sure I covered, and all the notepad said was 100 days, ! And I never mentioned 100 days.
All right.
So this whole fall, this whole year, I've been maxed out. I can't take on any more work. I will, but I can't handle anymore. More SEO work, more marketing, more networking in the middle of summer wasn't going to really do me any good. I mean, build for the future and all that, but what I really needed to do was have this 100-day reset from December to the end of February, where I can work on the things that I need to do to improve for next year. Constant improvement's great, but in the real world, I'm trucking 12 hours a day and sorting trash and recyclables and operating my business by myself. So having this time is like, I've been looking forward to this all year.
Yep.
So with quitting drinking, that's part of the whole, it became part of the plan. It wasn't part of the plan. It just became part of the way to achieve these goals that I've set for myself. So we're already at the end of December today. Back in my previous life as a window installer, I always called this my victory lap this week. Have a great year and keep working right up until the end of the year and still ripping windows out of people's houses on December 31st. Today was just like that, only I was hauling trash. And it really seems like everybody wanted to clean out their garage or I had a lot of businesses that wanted to clean out their warehouse over these couple slow days that they have off. So it's been rather busy these last couple weeks, busier than expected.
Yeah, it's interesting you bring up 100 days. I reread the book Traction, which is Gino Wickman's book about EOS, the Entrepreneurial Operating System. And the reason why quarterly initiatives are so important, they call them rocks in the EOS world. I'm bought in. I love EOS. Anybody in this world that wants to know how to grow, scale, and build your business, once you start getting employees in your that kind of $2 to $50 million range, EOS, that system is phenomenal. And one of the things they talk about why quarterly rocks are so important is because as humans, we have about a 90-day attention span. That's what we're good for, right? And so because of that, when you give yourself these 90-day sprints, you'll be able to achieve it. So 90 days, 100 days, we're right in that same ballpark. The whole goal is accomplish a lot all at once because, like you said, you get into the day-to-day, you get into the grind. I spoke with our integrator. We have our same page meeting every week, and we sat here and I told him whatever's for us, basically from December 15th until April 1, so March 31st, we'll call it. That's when we're thought out. That is when our business is malleable. We can change things. And then we run the play on April 1, right? We'll run the new play, the new process. We'll take 2 months to tweak. Pretty much by June 1st, whatever we're doing those first 2 months of the season, April to May, that's what we're doing until November. Like no major overhauls or changes because we're in it. Like that's what we're going with. And so in order for us to do that, we got to make a huge leap from mid-December until April 1st. That's when we make the big leaps. And our big leap here is January. So the last 2 weeks of December is like, what the fuck happened this year? Right? We're tracking all along. And then there's like a really good time to dig an index of what happened. And then January 1 until January 31st, that's when it's like, nope, let's come up with a really good plan. February 3rd this year, we're rolling out the plan to our guys. We're going to run it for 60 days, make tweaks along the way. And April 1st, it's like, all right, this is what we're going with. And again, it's better to have a plan that you adjust from. That way we all have a starting point than it is no plan at all. And we're just willy-nilly. Yogi Bear says, if you don't know where you're going, how will you know when you don't get there? Right. And it's like,
right.
And again, so it's, and this is one of the reasons why we're doing our pro forma weekend mastermind, our next mastermind weekend, the 24th, 25th of January, because it takes to the end of the year and a couple of weeks to figure out what the hell happened, get your data. And now it's like, let's build a pro forma. And then based on the pro forma, what are the measurables along the way? And the next thing is, what are the activities that get us to achieve those measurables? And then you'll hit those financial goals that you want to hit. And so this is very, it's on point, right? It's a 100-day sprint. So you're 30 days roughly into your sprint. What have you done so far? What are you going to do over the next 40 or next 60 to 70 days?
So I identified a problem. A lot of times when I make goals, I focus on the micro, the tiny little things that I need to do to reach what is the actual goal. So what are my goals for the next 100 days? I want more customers next year. I want to do better at recycling, and I want the ability to handle both.
Okay, let's tackle these things first and foremost. More. What's your customer list right now? What's the total number?
Total number. I ran about a little over 400 invoices this year. A lot of repeat customers. I do a lot with contractors. Okay. When I say more customers, I want more commercial contractors. That's really my bread and butter is, roofing, siding, and.
So how many of those customers do you have? Of those 400 tickets this last year, how many of those? What is the number of commercial clients you have?
I don't know the exact number, and that's something that I've been looking forward to diving into more tomorrow. Hangover day for all those drinkers.
Yeah. Well, that's good because that's the whole exercise, right? Because you start with I want more. Cool. How many do we have right now? We gotta know what more is. Yeah. Right. We got starting point. So you say, hey, I have 50 contractors. Great. What is more? Because 51 is technically more. Right. And 100 is double. What's the number? Right. And that's
yeah. I'm looking for 50% growth. I want to add I don't want to. I am adding a driver and another truck this year. So I do need more work to feed that guy. And one thing I've learned is I can do more when I'm away from the operations. I'm a good salesman and I'm a good networker. I'm good at all that stuff. So I love driving the trucks. And I love honking the horn, but I can do more when I'm out of the truck. So
less is more. Is it are you at a point now where you can bring a driver on that takes care of that entire operation? We don't have to physically add a truck, and you can go and sell more and get more capacity out of that truck, or you already pretty much at capacity on the truck? You need a second truck for capacity's sake.
I need a second truck for capacity's sake.
Okay.
I'm always nervous going into winter, not knowing what to expect.
Yeah.
Last winter was coming off of that health issue that I had, where it's kind of vertigo-like stuff, where I get dizzy at certain times, but not while driving or anything like that. I really wasn't sure what to expect. I hadn't been marketing all summer. I was trying to manage both window business and the dumpster rental. So it was a slower winter. This year, same thing. Like, I don't really know what to expect. I've done a great job marketing. I've built up a presence online, joined a bunch of chambers, and doing a good job networking and everything. Built a customer base that's referring me to other people. Have the ability to reach out to people through social media, email, text, so I can follow up with people and do a good job there. But honestly, I thought December would be a lot slower. And this 100-day plan, I'm like, all right, after Thanksgiving, this is going to be slow, and I'm going to get to it. And it's really been more than I expected work-wise. So just picking at this stuff every day, like, okay, did I make a step forward? Did I move the needle a little bit? Yes, I did.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's celebrate that, and tomorrow, let's do a little bit more, and just keep doing that every day. I've created a list of networking meetings, both chamber meetings, recycling associations. I found a remodeling contractors association in Minnesota that doesn't have a current waste hauler as a member. So
That's huge.
I'm attending their event in 2 weeks as a guest, and will likely join. I mentioned before that I like to put my money into these networking events and try to get those customers that are going to feed me continuously, rather than a lot of the Google ads and trying to get those one-off home clean out type of things. It's more of a long-term deal.
Do you have the capacity of time to attend all these events and be present?
It's tough. It's very tough. I want to be the one to go to that. I can sell my business better than anybody. I thought about, I like driving the truck so much, but is that what's going to do the best for my business if I'm driving a truck and sending somebody else out who smiles good and can talk up my business? No, I don't think so. I don't think they can.
I can answer that rhetorical question with a no. No one will be able to sell the business as well as the business owner. Nobody else can tell the story about seeing waste with the windows and the fact that the day after you got your truck, the window company, didn't need you to, haul windows and you stuck with it. And so in that regard, no one else can sell it, because at that point, you're not selling the transaction of, I do dumpsters and junk removal. No, you're selling the person. And when they trust you and to believe you and they remember you, right, then they'll refer you. That's as simple as it is.
Yeah, absolutely. And everybody has a trash hauler already. Everybody's had trash their whole life. Yep. So I have to do something different, and I have to be better, more personable. I have to show that I care about these contractors and these customers. I have to make each and every one of them a priority number one every week. I can't. I'll be there at noon. No way. I got to have these containers there in the morning. I can't slow their projects down.
Well, and that's the thing. It's in junk removal, often people don't even know. It's less prevalent now. 9 years ago, when I really got started networking in junk removal, people didn't even know what junk removal was. They're like, "Wait, you go into people's houses?" I'm like, yeah. Well, to your point, the people you're calling on already have established relationships, so you need to be top of mind when their current hauler doesn't serve their can. When their current hauler pisses them off, when their current hauler maybe goes out of business or, stops servicing their area, whatever, right? Because you got to be at that point of inflection when they have the greatest need. You have to be the only choice, not the best choice, the only choice that they think of. Because like you said, they're already buying that from somebody. So how do you convert them from their existing customer to your customer? And, there's two ways in this world to have the tallest building in town. You either build yours up or you rip other people's down. And all too often I hear this, I'm going to be insurance guys. I can be a better insurance guy than your insurance guy. It's like, fuck you. You don't even know my insurance guy. Same with you, right? You're not going to go there and say, "Oh, I'm going to be better than anybody else." No, hey, I know what I do it well, right? And give me a call when you're ready to take on my service. Versus, oh yeah, that guy's a jackass. Fuck him. Let me just discount his price. Like,
yeah,
and that will you'll attract all the wrong customers that way.
Absolutely, I have a great example of that too. I recently got a call from a guy on a Monday morning, and he said, "I need 50 dumpsters. Can you do it?" I said, "Well, sure, but this sounds like a scam. I get a lot of those calls too."
Yeah.
And do you deliver to Duluth? No, that's about 4 hours for me. Sorry, they're all brokers or whatever. So yeah. I get some more information from this guy, and he goes, "Yeah, we had another hauler out here, and he started yelling at me, so we kicked him off the property." And I'm like, "Okay, and all right, well, I want to get paid every week. I don't know this contractor, so yeah, I don't want to get too buried and stuff." We went over some details like that, and right before I headed out, I looked online for some used dumpsters that I thought would be, if this guy's going to tie up 3 dumpsters a week, I might need to add a couple in winter. That's crazy. Like, what a great opportunity. So I reached out to this guy on Marketplace that had some dumpsters available right in that area. Like, sweet, I'll drop off the dumpster. I'll head over and check out this used equipment. Well, the guy that had the used equipment ended up being the contractor, the dumpster rental guy that pissed off this contractor so bad that he called me. Yeah. And when I showed up to look at the dumpsters, this guy got out of his truck and started cussing me out. And, I'm going to call the county on you and the DOT on you. And you're just really aggressive and ridiculously crazy, right? So I got the work. I didn't get the dumpsters, big deal. Well, this went from being a one-time job to, man, I've heard multiple stories about this other dumpster guy and how he treats people like this all the time. Yeah. Like, that's my end right there. I'm always nice. I treat people with respect, If 3 people have now told me that this guy treats them bad, I see an opportunity in this area.
Well, you're driving 4 hours to do this work?
No. This is 30, 40 minutes. Yeah.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. Figure out every one of his customers and just call them and be like, "Hey, do you want someone who's not a dick? Call me."
Right.
Like, so you're telling me you went to go buy the dumpsters from the guy, and the guy was a dick to you.
Oh, I got out of my truck and he goes, "What the F, or do you think I'm going to sell these to you? You're stealing work from me." And all this and that. And
who do you think is going to buy dumpsters? Probably your competitor. Who else is going to buy dumpsters?
Probably a dumpster guy, right?
But probably a dumpster guy who's local. Yeah.
So my mindset going down there was, I'm going to meet this guy, even if I don't buy his dumpsters. Great to meet another person in the industry, and maybe I could send work to him if it's down in this area, and maybe he'll do the same for me, and just meet. That's how I operate in general. And it turned into me wanting to go after tons of work down in his area now, just because of the way that he treated me and treated all these customers down there. So I've gotten 2. This big warehouse job and another job down there from this already, just because one contractor told the other, "Hey, that guy that's treating you bad, I replaced him with Joe at American Dumpster."
Are his cans labeled? That other guy's cans labeled?
Yep, absolutely.
I drive around one fucking day, write down look for his cans, and call all of his customers and say, "Hey, I heard this guy's a dick. You could be, there's no love lost in business."
Yeah, absolutely. And
I get that aggressive. I just like, "Hey, I'm the friendly dumpster guy," and just leave it at that.
Yeah, I mean, just like you said, you either build up your own building or you tear others down. I don't have to say anything bad about this.
No, but hey, I did great. Yeah, you say, "Hey, you go, hey, I'm,
the way
I'm a nice guy." Yeah,
the way I joined the chamber down there, and I happened to find an empty billboard that I'm negotiating right in that town, which will be great.
I like it.
And I posted on the local community pages, "Thank you for those who have reached out for my fast and friendly service, as it is needed in this area." Just like you said, kill them with kindness. It didn't have to be that way.
Yeah, no, it didn't have to be that way, and yet here we are, right? There's no such thing as good news or bad news, only new information and what you do with it. So you got the new information. Hey, this other guy is losing business because he's not treating people well. All right. Well, I'm gonna go out of my way to tell people how well I treat them. And again, that's marketing. And then the branding piece is you have other people, i.e., that one contractor, telling people how well you treat people.
Absolutely. Yep. It travels fast.
Oh yeah.
Good and bad. So
Yeah.
I mentioned that I joined the chamber down there in that community. There are about 10,000 residents in that small town, smaller, medium-sized town, and a few areas around there. And there's a woman who does junk removal that's a chamber member. So me being the friendly dumps around guy that I am, I reached out and said, hey, I saw your name on the directory. I just joined the chamber, and you want to get coffee or whatever. And we met up and had coffee, and we're not competitors. We do similar things.
Yeah, but there's a little overlap, but it's not crazy.
Yeah, and she's totally reached out for advice on a couple jobs. And we did bid a trailer, burned up trailer house tear down together. That didn't work out, but the mean feller, all he had to say was, hey man, I didn't realize you were working down in this area. Sorry, not gonna sell the but no big deal.
That's great. That's fair. Yeah, he could have done that without making an enemy or making a bad name for himself. Absolutely, I love that, and that's why I have this show. I have this show to share the information of our industry, so we are all more professional, and we all know what more professional looks like. And again, when we get work, we took a big contract from Big Blue recently, and I talked to the rep. I said, hey, how were things today? And he's like, oh yeah, you guys did this, this, and this. I'm not used to that from the other company. And I'm like, cool. We pride ourselves on that. I didn't say shit about the other company, right? It was Big Blue. And they're like, yeah, you guys were professional. You guys were a lot simple to work with, great communication. I'm like, all right, good. So I'm not saying that Big Blue is not those things, right? We got the work because we went to networking events and because we earned the opportunity for the work. Now, this is a big apartment clean out, and we're going to get some more work because of it. And so again, it's, when you take your time to rip down your competition, when I was part of the franchise organization, I remember I was on a call one time with a bunch of franchisees, and they're like, yeah, what do you do about competition? I said it really boisterously. It's like, I don't have competition. I said, nobody else does what I do the way I do it. And so because I think of the other people that do junk removal as not as competition, as I'm only competing against myself, it shifted the mindset entirely. And they're like, wait, what do you, and it's like, I went from a scarcity mindset of a competition is limited on their customers to abundance mindset, which is everyone's my customer. They may or may not know it yet, right? Everyone's my potential customer. And so same thing here. It's like when you focus on what you do, others will follow, versus when you talk shit about people, right? It's not going to happen. And I've seen that before too. I see that in the Facebook groups from time to time. It's like, oh, fuck, this guy's in my area. And it's like, how does it help either one of you? Now you both look bad.
The whole industry looks bad when you're bad mouthing other waste haulers. It makes the whole thing look bad.
Yeah.
And you're not going to build up your building by tearing others down. That's just not.
No, you're taking bricks away from one versus putting bricks in the other. And that's the thing. When people run their mouth or talk shit about other small business owner, it's more of a reflection of the person running their mouth than it is about the truth. So like you said, with that general contractor that called you and was like, hey, this guy was a dick to me. He was like, he was stating the facts, right? And that gave you the opportunity. And now that he's got just dumpsters taken care of, he doesn't give a two shits about that guy. He's moved on. He's got other things to take care of in his business.
Oh yeah, and all he wants is a dumpster dropped off for him to fill and picked up when he says it needs to be picked up. That's all he wants.
It's not rocket science, boys and girls, right?
Yeah, if you failed at that, then maybe you're not right for this business.
Well, when I talk about the 6 buckets of business, right? Of the 6 buckets, someone in your company has to be good at doing the thing, dropping off cans and picking them up. That's when you're not good at that, it doesn't matter how good you can sell or market or have operations or finances. But you got to be able to do what you do really, really well, right? If you're a restaurant and your food tastes like shit, it doesn't matter what the fucking ambiance is. Food shit. I'm there to eat, And so that is critical. That is important. That you ultimately can do the basics. And when you can't do the basics, that's when people start looking around. I look at the basics as, the field, the thing you do, and then operations, right? When you're not picking up your phone, we're not returning phone calls. When you're, not communicating effectively, that's the other thing that'll kill a business. Piss poor service and poor communication. Those are the two killers to business. And those are the two opportunities you have to gain business. Right? And if the guy's being a dick, obviously it's not great communication.
No. And following up with every lead. You have to follow up with every lead.
100%.
You have to look at opportunities in every conversation that you have with somebody. Even this guy who was a total dick to me when I went to buy some equipment from him, like, I didn't yell back or get mad or argue with the guy. I left the situation and immediately started thinking, what's the opportunity here? What just presented itself? What can I do with what was just shown, what was just presented in front of me? So, and I took full advantage of it, and I'm going to keep doing it.
I love it. All right. What else is on your list for the 100 days? What else are you working at? What opportunities are you seeking?
Okay. So I gave you those three goals: more customers, better job of recycling, ability to handle both. So I've broken each one down into what am I going to do to get there. Right. So networking, we talked about networking. I want more commercial clients joining these groups and stuff like that. Recycling tours. I found a transfer station that had a really cool setup on their website where they had a tip floor with a hopper, and the hopper fed into a conveyor system that went up on a walking floor over some dumpsters where you could essentially have people up there sorting material and throwing it into the different containers. And their website bragged about all these different materials that they recycle. I thought, well, sweet, I'm going to go down there. I'm a dumpster rental guy. I'm going to check out what they have going on, because I want a facility like that someday, just go cold knock these places. Hey, I'm a dumpster rental guy. I want to check out what you got. And I've been doing that as much as I can through December. I went and checked out the University of Minnesota's facility, which is just for the university. Went and checked out this place down in southern Minnesota, and come to find out they're not actually recycling the things that they have listed on their website. And they were very upfront and honest about it. They said, it's too much work, not as much of a market as we thought, and we're just not doing it anymore, was their straight up answer. But I still see tremendous opportunity and potential. And, not only in what they're doing and what my goals are, but in that contact. I met that person and gave them my card. Who's in charge of this place? Great. I got their information. That's not a contact that I'm going to just forget about and let die. I'm going to keep talking to these people and, finding better ways to do things.
Well, what's interesting with that is, yes, I've had the opportunity to tour a lot of facilities. I used to work for Waste Management. So we had a MRF, one of the top 25 MRFs, material recycling facilities. Here, it's 5 minutes from my house. So I've been there, when I worked at Waste Management, I was there several times. One of the challenges with the recycling world is it's great academic, and yet it needs capitalistic-minded people like us to actually make it cash flow positive. Like our facility here in Butler, like we're a cash flow positive facility because we put the work in. And it takes a lot of work to make it worth it. And that's one thing I get a kick out of. And that's one thing that actually hurts our business is when people are like, well, people really aren't recycling. Right? When they talk about recycling, it's not actually happening in the real world. Then it takes away from those of us that are actually putting the work in. So it's good that you get that information. You can just be blunt about it. Like our industry has opportunities like any other industry. We have issues within our industry, and how much gets recycled is a no shit issue in our industry.
Yeah, absolutely. And when I meet with people, they're either really friendly and honest and want to talk to you, like this example was. But a lot of times they want to find out your information and what you're doing and how they can exploit what you know. So
that is absolutely a downside to networking, is that it is a lot of people looking to sell to you, not necessarily buy from you. And that is a huge, say red flag. It's definitely I say it's a frustration for me. It's annoying. It's all those things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you'll have a couple bad events where you're sold to the whole time, and it doesn't motivate you to go to the next one. But I know that it's those
first 6 months of going to networking events, you gotta push through all the bullshit. You got to fight through all the insurance guys, the fucking life insurance guys, the credit card processing people. Like it's almost like a video game. You got to go through all those underbosses to actually get to the right people. And it's because the right people have put the work in year over year. And when you come in, those first 90 to 180 days, they don't give a shit about you because you're like every other person that came in for, the first 90 days and then stopped coming in. I was so irritated at first when I went to networking events and I got treated like the FNG, the fucking new guy. I was like, why? Like, I'm a good broker. And then I realized once I was in the networking groups for a couple of years, I started to see what they saw. They saw dozens of people every year show up, have a good 6-month run, and then stop showing up. So like they got what they wanted out of it, and then they left. And it was like, oh, wow. And there's this trust factor. So when you're joining these networking groups, I'm giving this advice to you and others. I met this woman years ago, and she's been doing networking. I think it was like 28 years or 30 years she's been in the market. And she said she goes to a networking group for 3 years before she decides if it's a good fit for her. Because it takes that long to kind of work through, meet all the people, go to a couple of events, figure out where to sponsor, figure out where to volunteer. And then after 3 years, when it hasn't, come to fruition, then she'll make the decision to leave. The challenge is when you go to networking groups, you're like, oh, I need to make an ROI in the next 6 months. It's like, it's probably not going to be there. The fact is, it's probably not going to be there in 6 months. And so knowing that it's a long-term play, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Once you go in with that mindset, you're automatically going to be more successful because you have reasonable expectations and a reasonable outcome to look for.
Yeah, absolutely. I joined a BNI chapter around this time last year.
Yep.
And as you know, that's a big time. Takes a lot of time.
Oh,
you
huge
have
time
to be there every week.
Huge time commitment. Yeah.
Yeah, it's huge time commitment. I'd say start to finish with driving there on the in-person days. It's 3 hours out of your week. So think about all the things you can do with 3 hours. Sometimes it just doesn't seem, really worth it. And I did quit going to my BNI. I was able to put a pause on my account so I can get back to it, this winter, which is what I'm planning on doing. But the cool thing is you can visit each chapter in BNI 2 times without joining. So I would encourage people to do that.
Go to 10 of them. I don't give a shit. Go to a bunch of them. And at least if there's any low-hanging fruit, you get some of that low-hanging fruit right away. And then eventually you'll get a big pop once you actually decide to join one. I personally despise BNIs. And I also know people that swear by them.
Yeah,
so
me too.
So I also know when I look at some of our networking this year, we were in a BNI. We got a couple of healthy projects because of the one BNI group. So I do not knock the success of BNI. It is the time commitment. That's the frustration we've had in our company and even in my mindset is the
and I charge
consistency.
What charge $900 for a year and
that's just
slowly,
that part doesn't bother me. It's the time, and it's the time commitment. It's the rigidity of it. That's the stuff that it's a lot, and it's more than what I was willing to do. And now nobody on our team yawning. New Year's Eve, I'm supposed to go hard tonight. Not really.
Yeah, right.
I don't drink alcohol. I got a 10-year-old. I'm not going hard. Let me tell you something. That's what
is your daughter staying up till midnight?
Oh, she's going hard. She's like she slept in this morning. She's got actually right after this, I'm taking her to the Harlem Globetrotters. Harlem Globetrotters have been coming to Milwaukee for New Year's Eve for 60 years. Like my mom used to go with her dad 60 years ago. And so I'm taking my daughter. She's never seen a Harlem Globetrotters, so I'm taking her to the game right after the show. We're heading down the Pfizer Forum, and then she's got a sleepover extravaganza with her chicas, with her friends, and then we're doing a family New Year's Day post Christmas party. We didn't do a Christmas party because my daughter wasn't in town and then my mom was sick. So I know me. I am taking her easy tonight. I don't drink and I don't need to be hanging around with a bunch of 10-year-olds drinking grape juice and howling at the moon. Actually, she's going to my friend's house. My friend's probably smart enough to just change all the clocks. Have you ever seen that with kids? Let's change all the clocks from midnight, from 10 to midnight or whatever, midnight to 10. And that works. There you go. Sleep in the New Year. Yes, I'm a sleeper inner. People are like, oh, you must wake up early. No, I fucking love sleeping in. Huge sleeper inner.
Show the kids the YouTube video from a different time zone at 10 o'clock,
Oh, yeah, exactly. The problem is they all have phones and iPads, and now you got to, it's a lot lot of work. It's not like, resetting the clock in the kitchen and you're like, oh, we're good. I don't remember as a kid what the hell we did for New Year's. There wasn't, nothing spectacular that I recall.
Yeah. We hung out in my garage last year with my son and my wife, and we did exactly what I just said. We watched the ball drop at 10 o'clock on YouTube, and
good enough. Good enough. How old's your son?
He's 9.
Oh, yeah. So my daughter's 10. So yeah, same age where it's like, all right, cool. We did the thing. Good. Check the box, go to bed.
Yep. Exactly. Tomorrow will be a great opportunity. Like you said, you're going to be catching up on some family stuff, and
I'm going
to do the same and try to get some of this business stuff locked down. I'm really excited to see what, where some of my work came from, and, what percentage is this and what percentage is that, and really dive into a lot of that data that I haven't had a chance to yet.
And that's the key, right? Making data-driven decisions starts with data. And that's why I encourage people, you got to know your numbers. You got to know what the hell your business is doing. And that's our starting point for where you're going to go. Or you get to decide where you're going to go. How you're going to get there is really determined by your numbers of how you got where you're at today. And so, yes, I you know me, I love me some data. So the fact that it's end of the year, like this is the time, whether it's the end of the month, end of the quarter, end of the year, that's the time to that natural reset to look back and say, okay, what happened? I mean, we have our scorecard we check weekly. That is, we are diligent about that. That's the EOS way. And so because we're checking our scorecard daily, nothing really surprises at the end of the month or end of the quarter or end of the year. It's more like, all right, so we're right. I told my business partner by November 15th, I know within probably about $15,000, $10,000 to $15,000 exactly where we're going to finish the year. And I'm hitting the number almost dead on the numbers because I'm like, yep, I know about what comes in the last 6 weeks, give or take, right? And then from there, it's like, all right, that's how we finish the year. Or even last week, Mike's like, oh, we got a slow week. My sales guy, and I go, Mike, it's Christmas week. The next week's New Year's. Like there is like 5 working days left this year. The number is what the number is, right? Mm-hmm. We're not putting, maybe it fluctuates a couple $1,000s. We're not.
No need to make a change.
Yeah. No. And we're doing, so on Tuesday, we do we go away for 2 days. We go down to Lake Geneva. It's about 90 minutes from here. 2 days offsite in a hotel conference room to do our annual planning, 2 full days. It's like between now and then, we're doing what we do, that, run the play. And then it's going to take us 3 or 4 weeks of implementation as a leadership team. And it's going to take another 60 days to roll it out to the service team. So, we're 90 days away right now from our new plan, and we're going to put the work in. That's it. And we're going to put the work in. The challenge is the people that have all the ideas, and then all of a sudden they don't execute on the ideas when it's slow. And then boom, it's fucking April before you know it. And by June, you're like, fuck, where's my time? I want to train. I want to develop. I want to do R&D. And it's like, you had the time in winter. You chose not to do it, right? You chose to whatever, sit on your fucking social media, play video games, go to the bar, whatever you chose to do in the winter when you had the time, you'll pay for it come June. That's the reality. Either you're going to be, I would say either the phone ain't ringing and you're not making money, or you're slammed and you can't handle the volume because you didn't put the work in January, and June comes every year.
Exactly. That's where I was at last year. I went into the winter. It was a slower winter. What am I going to do about it? So, started networking, got the website up and running, and did everything I could to be busy. And I was busier than I thought I would be. I was as busy as I hoped I would be. And, I saw it happen live, and I'm making the decision now to double down on all those things that work good and really have a good year this year.
No, I'm excited for you. I'm excited the fact that you started your sprint in December, that you wanted to talk about it, because every year there's like, man, there was shit we didn't get done this year. So it's like, all right, celebrate what got done and talk about what you're going to do next year. Because there's always going to be shit. There's never a time in your business where you're like, oh, everything is working exactly the way I thought it would work, and now we're going to sit here and twiddle my fucking thumbs.
Yeah. There's no time for month-long celebration of laziness. It's a slow time. Let's just relax. That's not how I operate.
You're either growing or you're dying. Those are the only 2 fucking directions in this world. And it goes to Jordan Peterson talks about this, burying the cross. I can barely say that. Anyways, you're going to bear a cross. You're going to carry a cross with you. You either choose the cross you bear, or the world is going to put it upon you. And when you choose it, you're proactive. When you choose it, you can take action versus, oh, now that shit rolls downhill. Now it's on my shoulders. Fuck. Now I got it. So you're going to have the work either way. It's your choice whether or not you know, it's your choice what the work is. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, exactly. Some things I can't do in winter, like the earthwork I want to do around my facility here, which is my farm. It sure did get cold fast. But improving this facility is going to help me with my goal of doing a better job of recycling, just moving some dirt, you know, making some more parking and sorting areas and things like that. But that's going to be a later in the 100 days. So,
well, there are certain things just logically aren't going to get done in winter. So it's like, all right, what can you do to make sure that you're prepped for when the season breaks? Same with us. We're getting a new concrete driveway. Our east lot here is asphalt and it's torn up. I wanted to replace it this last year. It didn't happen. So now we're going to replace it this year. Like, it's on the fucking board. I already emailed the guy to figure out when we can get it done in April. So it's like, well, what can we do between now and then to prep the area or even prep the warehouse for us? Because we're going to be taking out our main parking lot for 2 weeks. So it's like, we got to start coming up with a plan now for what that looks like for those 2 weeks when it's going to be a week of prep and a week of cure on the concrete.
Yeah, totally. Concrete, that's big time. Our landfill, we had our local county landfill, muddiest rut, dragging the truck, you know, just all kinds of noises and things to worry about pulling in there every day. They went and got some asphalt millings and laid those down this spring.
Yeah.
And man, did that make a nice driving and parking area. Your mind's made up on concrete. That's easy to sweep, but man, them asphalt millings, that was a hard surface and it'll save you a little money.
Yeah, challenge. That's why I have asphalt, and asphalt will last 10 years. You know, concrete's gonna last 25. And for me, it's I grew up on concrete. My dad was a concrete guy. When you grow up in construction, you're either an asphalt guy or a concrete guy. There's not a in between. You know, I don't know anybody that likes them both. And so I'm a concrete guy. But yeah, it's easier. The other thing is for me, it's easier to sweep and maintain. Now, asphalt melts better. The snow melts better on asphalt because it's black. However, it's easier to plow concrete because it's nice and flat and you can push it and you're not, you know, you're taking off a little top. The problem with asphalt is like you hit something, all of a sudden you're turning it up. So it's the seasonality here in Wisconsin. Asphalt isn't ideal. You know, down south they got a lot of asphalt. Their roads stay real nice. Here in the winter and in up north with the fluctuation of temperature, that's why we have so many fucking potholes. And so also the price difference wasn't like astronomical. You know, asphalt's less expensive, probably 15-20%, you know, less money. It's a big ass piece of concrete. I'm already committed to it. So because I'm committed to, you know, what I want to avoid is make it a commitment and then say, I should have spent that extra 15-20% and got everything I wanted. Yeah. And so in out back we have concrete. So actually this is the last asphalt we have on our property. So we have concrete out back and then we have crushed TB. So traffic bond, we have that in our south lot. So that's crushed concrete that for what we do back there. We store our trailers. We got a couple hot tubs. Whenever we have, you know, 2 or 3 hot tubs, we throw them back there before we load them and take 5 or 6 at a time. It's also our employee parking. So we have a whole extra acre of overflow, whatever. I mean, we got a fucking boat. We got a couple boats back there. Back when we used to take boats, and we stopped taking them because we stopped finding ways or places to take them to. So
really,
I got a boat back there from 7 years ago. It was our second summer in business, so we got that boat in the summer of 17. Still have it. No reason.
Really? Well, I called a couple, and I felt bad charging what I charged to haul them because I just threw them in a dumpster and hauled them right in, and they were pretty cheap to get rid of.
Well, not by us. All that fiberglass adds up. It's weight for the sake of weight. The other issue I have is the trailers often for us. This is a big boat I got. I don't trust the trailers. So that was one of the rules we made a couple of years ago was we will not take anything that we cannot fit in our trucks. So we've taken motorhomes in the past, campers, a lot of shit. And I finally said, okay, if we can't put it in our truck or our trailer, we're not fucking taking it.
Yeah.
So,
that's a whole nother business. I get calls sometimes for junk cars and stuff like that. And
yeah,
I can think of 10 people that do that regularly.
Yeah.
That on the side, scrapper types of people. But
yeah, I don't want to fuck with that.
Yeah, that's not my thing.
Nope. All right. Well, hey, let's get. I got a Harlem Globetrotter game to get to and take my daughter. Let's get to the big finish. What's been your big takeaway from today?
100 days. We're both working on it. Just taking the time that you have and making the most of it. Looking for opportunities as they present themselves over this time. We got clear heads. We're not grinding as hard every day. I mean, I'm not. Hopefully you are out there, but now is kind of the downtime of this business. So pay attention to those conversations and those opportunities, and try to take the most you can. Set it up for the next year.
Yeah, I love that. I know everyone's 100 days is going to be different. So it's not, don't follow Andy or, don't follow Joe. Figure out what your 100 days are, your 90-day, 100-day sprint, whatever it is. Figure it out, put a start date and an end date, and get shit done. When you don't put that end date, there's no pressure, and then things don't get done often. So put a start date and an end date on your 100 days or your 90 days, whatever methodology you have, and grow leaps and bounds during it, not this little bit here, a little bit there. No, try to grow leaps and bounds, bring in new systems. And then when you're in the season, then you make the tweaks along the way. Because when you try to take on the big shit when you're ramped up, it ain't gonna happen. So that's my. And the other thing is I loved your story about that guy that's giving you his business on the account of his inability to be kind. Right at the end of the day, attitude is everything. You show up, right? Run your play. Be a good business owner. Be a professional. That's what I really want to bring to this industry. That level of professionalism, and when you're professional, our entire industry grows. And the delta between Chuck and the truck that isn't doing things right and those of us that are professional, that delta gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So it's not that, hey, all junk removal companies or dumpster companies are assholes and difficult to work with. No, some are and some aren't. And they're going to want to work with the ones that aren't difficult to deal with. They're going to want to work with the ones that communicate well, are kind, and say what they do and do what they say. So, again, basics, ladies and gentlemen, basics. Speaking of basics, next week, we got Brooke I want to say Dishwater. I can't. Deerwester. I actually know her. I had a call with her last week. Brooke Deerwester with Junk Wranglers. Actually, I got some swag. I had the swag. Hold on. I got the swag. I was wearing it earlier. I know. I'm still waiting for my Make Trash Great Again hat. There we go. Junk Wranglers. There we go. From Golden, Colorado. There we go. I'm rocking it. It's ready. I got the box earlier today, so I'll be promoting her and her business next week. I'll be rocking the gear. Junk Wranglers. What's unique about Brooke is she left a high-paying, high-flying sales position in the tech world to get in with the boys, to get in junk removal. She's been in business less than 1 year. She's doing dumpsters primarily. Not primarily, dumpsters and junk removal, both, I would say. She wants to definitely grow the dumpster side of her business, and that's something I'm working with her on. So what's unique is she is a young female entrepreneur in a relatively male-dominated industry, and so that's what we're going to be talking about next week, what challenges and opportunities she has rocking it out there in Golden, Colorado. So that'll be next week's episode. We're doing the episode on Monday next week because, like I said, next week, Tuesday and Wednesday, I'm going to be in our annual training and planning session, annual planning. And then this year, we'll get back to Tuesdays for the most part. Tuesday afternoons and Tuesday mornings is a backup. You want to be a guest on the Trash Talk Business Podcast? Go to the website, trashtalkbusinesspodcast.com. Click on the appear to be a guest on the show. Taylor will work with you to get you on the show. And then you can be like Joe and hang out with me, chat, talk, learn, grow as we all build this amazing industry together. So on behalf of Taylor, our producer, Joe, I want to thank you as our guest. I'm Andy Weins. This has been an amazing episode of the Trash Talk Business Podcast. We will see you next year.
Thanks for listening. Tap subscribe or follow to get the latest episode. And if you enjoyed this episode, be sure to leave us a review and tell a friend to listen. To learn more, visit trashtalkbusinesspodcast.com. Bye now.